there as well. We are experiencing a few technical difficulties on the LinkedIn side, so bear with us. But I think we're about ready to get started here. Okay, so John is coming in here. Awesome. Hi, John. All right.
Hello.
All right, you guys. I think we're good to roll. I was just telling them, John, that we're live streaming on LinkedIn today as well, and told them to give us a follow and everything. So that's pretty cool. So we just found out LinkedIn had that feature. So we're going to be streaming some things on LinkedIn now. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So talking about remote workforce today, obviously since the hit of COVID-19, everything got uprooted and moved right to home, and everyone started to, having to do remote online work. And all of a sudden this new cybersecurity threat came about of, oh my gosh, how do we protect our workforce when they're not in the office? So we're going to do kind of like a Q&A style thing today where I'll ask you guys some questions and you'll go ahead and give your answers on protecting this remote workforce, kind of what threats we see emerging and everything like that. So we'll go ahead and we'll get rolling. And then I'll let John start with introducing Next IT.
Thanks. Good morning, everyone. Yes, Next IT, based out of West Michigan. We cover all of West Michigan beyond from our 3 offices in Muskegon, Kalamazoo, and Traverse City. We help you make your employees more productive with reduced risk. And we'll talk a little bit more about that through the slides as we get into the discussion about remote work. And as Lindsay said, yes, this has been a new normal now for a lot of people the last couple of years. Either 100% remote, people are back in the office, and a lot of people doing the hybrid type solution where they've got people working from home and from the office.
Cool. And I know personally with our company that we work with you guys for a long time, when we had to move remote, you guys immediately came out and set us up with VPNs, got us all hooked up at home and everything. So can speak to the ease of Next IT helping us out with that transition. So yes, oops, wrong way. PAX 8 is, maybe John, you can kind of dive into PAX 8 and what they kind of do to help with Next IT.
Yes, PAX 8 is another partner that we've brought to our clients, and they help us with the Microsoft provisioning and do Office 365 backup and help that. So it's just another team member that Next IT brings to our client base and can, help you with the security issues and the remote workforce. I think we're still waiting for Elliot to join. I forwarded him the link, and hopefully he'll be on here soon. And we can talk about the different aspects that we've gone through and the different situations we've seen over the past 2 years, and how we're really making this hybrid work environment work for our clients and make it easy.
For sure. Well, we're kind of waiting for him to get on here too as well. I know we put his contact information on the screen. His contact info will also be at the end of the presentation as well if you'd like to speak with Elliot directly. But we'll kind of get started with when he pops in here. We'll let him in, but otherwise we'll get started rolling with some questions for you guys. So, oops. Good grief. Technical difficulties today. We'll keep going forward, which I'm sure you guys on the webinar have experienced several times working at home. But first question is, how can we continue to have a good collaboration with our remote workers? I know, kind of speaking from our side of things, sometimes we have struggled in the beginning when we went remote, having that kind of like interconnectivity with our other coworkers while we were remote, as opposed to, just being in the office with them. How can we continue that collaboration while staying safe online?
And I think of this even differently. How can we continue, but how can we improve that collaboration? Because we are going to have a number of remote workers. Let's face it, this landscape has changed, and we've forced our way through it and figured out how to do some remote work. And for a lot of employees, that makes sense for them. So we, went through this as well, where in the beginning of the pandemic, there were possibly 6 or more different ways for coworkers to connect with me, either cell phone, Jabber. We were using a Cisco platform, for all of our communications, office phone, text, email, chat, all of these things. So what we've done, back then and with a lot of our clients, is moved to this Microsoft 365 platform. So now everything's on a single screen, whether it's on my cell phone or on my desktop or on a laptop. I sign in, and now, as everybody has gotten used to that, it offers you file sharing, editing on a single file with multiple users. That is finally real and working well. You can edit Excel spreadsheets and Word documents, and then video calls, chat. And as everybody gets more familiar and comfortable with that interface, it now becomes our main line of communication. Coworkers don't call me on my cell phone anymore. They use the Teams app on my cell phone. They don't care if I'm in my office, at home, or on the road. I can still pick up that call, join a video meeting, chat back and forth internally. And then because it's within Microsoft and it's within your network, all those security parameters are taken care of for us. We've added multi-factor authentication. That's a big piece to help increase that security. So any remote users that don't have your authentication key can't get in. And that's where we're seeing a lot of the security concerns here in the current environment.
Yeah, it's kind of funny you bring up how the video chat has become the new norm, because even when I'm on the go and normally I would text my clients or would text people, now it's just like, hey, here's a quick link, let's hop on a video call. It's gotten even simpler to that point where we don't even have to text anymore. We can just say it with our mouths by hitting a quick button, and then you're able to meet with people that soon. So cool.
And I remember years ago, there was this promise of, multiple people in different offices could work on a single spreadsheet. And it really seemed to never come to fruition until just recently with the Teams environment. And now we're sharing things up, on our Teams cloud, and it's available to all users wherever they're sitting. It's all secured and encrypted and past our big rigid security requirements.
Yeah, which kind of, easily transitioning into this next question. When these people are doing this interconnectivity between their other coworkers, should they be allowed to use their personal home computers? How does NextIT work with those workers who do only have access to their personal home computers to make sure that they're still able to get work done, but that they're doing it safely?
Right. 2 years ago, we said, nope, can't use your home computers. We don't know what the rest of the people in your household are doing on that computer and how many infections are in there. But the pandemic made it a requirement, right? So we said, we've only got desktops in the office and nobody can come into the office. They've got a great computer at home. So what we've done is we've taken that approach of, okay, we understand, we're going to help you be more collaborative with your users. And so we load our NextIT agent so we can monitor that home computer, and we give them an antivirus, but we do require that there's a VPN connection back to the home office, right? And that's as simple as any of your users taking a work device and taking it offsite and connecting up that VPN. So there's a little configuration that needs to happen to use the personal home computer. Still recommend, if they can have a separate work device, that's a little better. But we are able to identify, that work environment on that computer, kind of segment it off and make sure that when a spouse or one of your children would get on that computer, that they can't connect to the corporate network. And then that VPN then provides that security to make sure that that connection to the corporate network from the remote home computer is secure.
Perfect. And just a reminder to everyone attending this webinar too, if you have any questions about those VPNs or anything as we're discussing, you could either drop that in the chat, or at the end, we'll be talking about some information that you could use to get in contact with us to talk about that a little bit more. But yeah, so. Oh, good grief. It keeps going backwards. There we go. should I be concerned with hackers due to workers working off a different network? I know that was a big fear of mine when I started to do the remote workforce, because as soon as I had moved remote, I immediately had flashbacks of a time that I got hacked, and I was like, oh gosh, I don't have those same, security measures in place. Is this going to happen again? Are those hackers out there potentially targeting me more than what they used to? And, should those remote employees actually be more on high alert than what they used to be?
So the simple answer is yes, you should be concerned, but the concern should be within your IT department, right? If you have a department that manages your IT for you and takes care of the VPN connection and making sure all your security procedures are in place, like multi-factor authentication, then the concern goes away. If you don't have an IT department or don't have the confidence in, maybe there's just a guy that fixes your IT stuff, that they're doing that right, reach out to an MSP like NextIT. And we're doing this every day, right? So we've got a staff in our Muskegon help desk office, and that's all they're concerned about is the security piece. We got a different person that's the networking person, a different person that's a server person. So it's time to get the professionals involved, because the hackers aren't slowing down. They're just going to start getting more and more effective. Now, what we really tell our clients to be concerned about is the end user. And I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but end user training, we feel, is the biggest key. No matter how many security pieces you have in place, or no matter how many locks you have on the front door, if the babysitter lets in the bad actor, they're in the house and they've got the keys to the kingdom. So falling for phishing schemes on email or email spoofing, and having these security concerns in your network, and making sure your user are training and not just clicking on every link from every email that comes in. I know that's redundant. We've heard about this for the last couple of years, but we continue to do training for our clients, and we send out phishing simulation emails and report back on who actually clicked on the link. They saw the link and they thought it was fishy, so they didn't send anything in. Or every now and then you'll get somebody that'll submit data because they're getting pretty tricky with these phishing emails, right? The most popular one we have is Better Business Bureau, right? We'll send out a link that says Better Business Bureau has a negative response. Please log in and see what that is. And I can't tell you, we've had a couple of clients that were clean and never submitted data. And then all of a sudden, administrator says, oh no, Better Business Bureau, we need to do this. And they'll log in and submit data. It's not a panic, right? But understanding that is an issue and a concern. I've fallen for 2 phishing scams. They were from ex-customers or prospects that I was looking at, and they said, hey, we need some more information. I'm like, oh yeah, this was a customer. What had happened is they were hacked, and then the hackers sent out emails to all of their people in their contact database. So when that happens, raise your hand. Tell everybody in your network that, all right, this happened. I may have submitted data. Go back and change passwords, reharden the security. Just don't walk away and be embarrassed that it happens, because it happens to the best of us.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can attest. A couple of those things have gotten me myself, just because it looks like those everyday texts and emails that come in. I know in a couple of our past webinars, which are on our YouTube channel, we talk about some of those phishing texts as well, of being like, hey, your Amazon package was left at the door, click here to confirm, or, just like things you're normally used to seeing, or, hey, the US post office has a notification for you for a recent package you sent out, click here to get the status. And then you're like, hey, that looks like a regular everyday email or regular everyday text. Then boom.
And they're using the Microsoft logos, the Zoom logos. They make it look like it comes directly from that client. And in our training, we give you a couple of little things to look for to make sure it's the right source before actually submitting data.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay.
And if you ever have any questions, make sure and ask people.
Yes. And that kind of takes us to the end of our, quick Q&A webinar today. John did an awesome job, and John's also here to answer any of your other questions. So aside from, what we're offering today, I wanted to also throw out the reminder that we do have our YouTube channel that has tons of our other webinars on it. We talk about two-factor. We also dive into VPNs a little bit more, which I know we discussed. And we also have a lot of other webinars about remote security training as well. So if you guys want to kind of tune in there, head over to our YouTube channel and check those out. Those are great things to send out to your organization. We're also recording this right now as well. So we're going to send out an email after this for you guys so that you can send to your staff and everything. But for you guys sticking on here, we wanted to give you a free Wi-Fi setup for your business. So if you go ahead and email John's email, which is on the screen, otherwise, we're going to follow up with you with this information as well. You guys can claim that setup for your business, and, working with Pax8, helping you guys get the most secure, reliable, internet that you guys can, while also, protecting that remote workforce is going to be key. So also wanted to remind you guys once again, one more plug for our LinkedIn, which we're streaming it live on LinkedIn today. So wanted to shout that out again, that if you don't like us on LinkedIn already, you totally should. Aside from streaming our webinars there, we'll also be posting, we post a lot of fun polls and cool industry news and tech news as well. So I recommend you guys give it a like. But in the meantime, we'll be following up with everyone who attended this webinar shortly. Otherwise, we hope you guys have a safe and secure day and a nice start to your weekend. Bye, John.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Yep, no problem.